yesterday, and he was saying that he's done more. You guys have done more practice on blocking on like kick returns and punt returns than you've ever done before, and I think you still have 8 penalties on returns this year. How frustrating has that been? We obviously saw the one the other day that cost a touchdown.
Yeah, well, it is. We've worked really hard on trying to keep guys covered up to give the returner a chance, and it's unfortunate when you have penalties, the blocking the backs, those type of penalties, which come up. Some of them are questionable. There's some that we've had that aren't. They've been exactly that. So we've tried to emphasize it. We'll continue that. And when you're playing fast and guys against you are going hard, you got to get yourself into position. You just got to be able to make really good decisions in those critical moments. And we haven't done that to our standard yet. So we're going to keep working it. We're going to keep drilling it. And like anything else, you got to find ways to improve. And I thought the one we had in the last game was unnecessary, and that's really, like any mistake made in football, there's some that are unnecessary, and you are right, in the heat of the game, those are things you have to learn from, so you go back, you watch the tape, you study it. Why did it happen? Sometimes it's just a poor decision. All right, correct that. Sometimes it's a technique or a way we're doing things. Let's go correct that. So that's what we're really looking at and studying.
In the 2016 game, you guys had the punt blocked for a touchdown. How big is field position and special teams kind of in a game like this?
Well, field position, special teams are always big, and any turnover on special team is big. So you can score on it, you can create field position. If you have a turnover of some kind, that's usually going to be a difference maker in the game, and that was in that game. Not one play defines every game, but that was a big play in the game.
You guys have given up some explosive running plays this year. Obviously, that's what Air Force feasts on. How much pressure is on your linebackers this week to step up and control that?
I think the teams we play, there's always pressure on our linebackers, just the teams that run the ball. And even playing Nevada, they're going to throw it, but one of the big keys was stopping the run. And this week, stop the run, right? That's what they do. They're going to get you in space. I don't think you're going to eliminate their run game, but you have to be able to tackle in space. You have to be able to play the dive. You have to be able to run sideline to sideline when they do get out in the perimeter. And that leaves guys with one-on-one tackles. Linebackers first, safety second, corners are going to be involved somehow, some way. But I think every week it's the same challenge for that group. Just the linebackers, to me, always have the biggest challenge when it comes to they're in conflict with run and pass. They're getting run at, and then they're getting play actioned at, and they got to make these decisions. And I think our guys have done a good job. It's just every week is different. You got to key into whatever it is that offense is doing and trying to attack you with. And this week we know what it is, but along those same lines, they threw the ball really well in the last game. The quarterback is a really good player, so you got to be able to be balanced at that position.
Right, about your wide receivers this week and the kind of the flair for the dramatic they've had. You got a favorite catch so far of the one-handers and the one-shoers and other things they've done this year?
Was it the? I don't know if it's a favorite. I think it was Achilles Butler in the Nevada game, the butt catch.
That's right. Yeah, I forgot about that one.
Yeah. I got a picture of it somewhere. I found it somewhere online, and I sent it to him, and he's got it kind of pinned up. I thought that was kind of funny more than anything. They've all made some really spectacular catches. I think Brett's thrown the ball well. I don't want to promote all the one-handed catches because we're not trying to do that. But the nice thing about that group and the chemistry is Brett's putting the ball in places where they can only get it. They're going to get it, and I think we're making good decisions that way. And those guys are coming down with the ball, which is positive.
That's funny. Sean said something about it. He's like, "Yeah, I don't necessarily want to be in the one-handed catch category because I try to get 2 hands on the ball every time." But
that is.
Sometimes that's the way it goes.
It is. Well, as long as we catch it, right? If they catch it and one. I don't know if there's one early on. I guess it was the UConn game, the one AJ had on the little bubble. He had that one hand in the second half. Early on, that was a pretty spectacular catch and run afterwards. Thought that was a pretty good play.
Kind of a fun one about Rip. He's been here for 4 years now. Do you guys have a more creative nickname for him, or are you still searching for one other than Rip?
I haven't thought of it. Yeah, I mean, I haven't really thought about that.
I was throwing at you the eraser. And the reason why, he leads the country in passing yards on 3rd down and 10 or more. How much has he been able to help you guys kind of erase some stuff this year, some bad plays this year? How much of a luxury is it to have something like that?
Yeah, well, he's done a good job. I hope we can get into less 3rd and 10 pluses, really. But he has done a good job on 3rd downs. Our 3rd down percentage has been good. that needs to continue. And I think a lot of it is he's making good decisions. He's seeing what he needs to see. You know, that's part of playing quarterback. You kind of dig yourself in a hole, penalties or negative plays early on. You got to be able to dig your way out. I think he's done a good job of that. We've also been efficient on 3rd and 2 to 3. You know, those more manageable ones too, which we want to be in.
And then, you know, you guys are football coaches and players, but I know you're fans of the game, and you know, to see him passing guys on the all-time list like a Drew Brees or a Russell Wilson and Carson Palmer. I mean, these are guys that have started at the college level and then eventually the pro level. I mean, I don't know, how cool is it for a kid that comes here to start to do some of that and achieve some of that?
Yeah, well, we don't really get into all that during the season. You guys know that. I mean, we won't talk about the personal stats, but to be in the same breath of some of those guys, we know what type of players they are. You know, I think in college you obviously knew a little bit about them. They've gone on and played really well at the next level. That's why it stands out. But what I like about Brett is every single week he's been very consistent ever since he's been here. None of those things ever really, I think, get him too high or too low one way or another. And especially this year, you guys have asked a lot about him and his preparation and all that, and he's been consistent with it every week. Every week he comes in, he's watching tape. He's just got this approach that is different, you know, than some of the quarterbacks that we've had. And I think it's just he's learned from them. He's applied some of those things. He's tried to advance what guys here before him have done. And I think he's maximizing, you know, what he's able to do to get himself prepared. So those results, when you do things like that, I think when you prepare right, results come. And I think he's doing a really good job of that.